The bob started becoming popular in the early 1920s. Author Scott Fitzgerald wrote a short story about a girl who cuts her hair short. The short hair movement was a radical change, since all women of the time were seen to have long hair. The bob was formally introduced by actress Louise Brooks. People also became inspired by fashion designer Coco Chanel, who also sported the look. Other popular hairstyles of the 1920s included the Dutch boy, the shingle, and the Eton crop. But the most famous is the bob. During the 1920s, a young woman who rebelled against convention was called a flapper. They were trendy young women who wore short dresses with a straight, loose silhouette. The name flapper means young, modern woman who wore fashionable clothing and tons of makeup. During the 1920s, flappers were very popular. However, the flapper fashion only lasted about 3 years, but had a huge impact on the world. The one-hour dress was designed by Mary Brooks Piggin, and the object was for it to be made in 1 hour. In the 1920s, it was faster and easier for women to get dressed, or home sew their own clothing, since corsets and constricting waistlines were out of fashion. The one-hour dress was very popular during the early 1920s. During the mid-1920s, everything was straighter and softer. High fashion was considered the long, straight silhouette for the daytime, and the evening wear became much shorter. As the decade came to an end, so did the straight long dresses. Waistlines made a reappearance. Evening clothes consisted of both short and long dresses, as well as the flapper look of the 1920s only lasted about 3 years, and by the late 1920s was out of fashion. During the 1920s, not only did women have new fashions, men did too. The sack suits, zoot suits, were now appropriate for day dress. Black bowler hats, tailcoats, black patent leather shoes, knickers, and Oxford bags were also popular. Jazz clothes were also very popular but went quickly out of style. Tweed cloth and flannel were popular fabrics for men's clothing. On October 24, 1929, the stock market crashed and had a drastic effect on men's clothing.